Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk College Football. I'm your host, Don Goodwin, and on this podcast, we like to talk everything to do with college football. Sometimes it's breaking news, sometimes it's a little bit past, but let's talk Colorado tonight. So I just got in and been going through some research on some other stuff, and I heard Colorado will now be going to the Big 12 again 2024. Unanimous decision by the board that's voted for them to be able to leave the Pac-12 and go to the Big 12 in 2024. I don't know what's going on over there in Pac-12. Why they can't get things done to be able to keep this conference strong. It just started getting strong again last year. But, let's look at Colorado. Let's focus on Colorado right this second. In 2011, Colorado went to the Pac-12. All right, I'm just going to read their records since they've been to the Pac-12. 3-10 with only a 2-7 conference, 2 wins, 7 losses. 1-11, 1-8 in the conference. 4-8, 1-8 in the conference. 2-10, 0-9 in the conference. 4-9, 1-8 in the conference. 10-4, 8-1 in the conference in 2016. That was a good year. 5-7. 2-7 in the conference, 5-7, 2-7 in the conference, 5-7, 3-6 in the conference, 4-2, 3-1 in the conference, 4-8, 3-6 in the conference, and 1-11, and that's 1-8 in conference. So they literally had, and I go by winning seasons if you can make it to a bowl. So you got to have 6 wins to make it to a bowl. They literally had one winning season since they went over to the Pac-12. So I understand why they want to leave the Pac-12. Maybe they just don't fit in there. They don't really recruit well. Well, then they go out there and they get Deion Sanders, crazy, great motivational speaker. He doesn't have a whole lot of coaching experience in college except for Jackson State, which is not a Power 5 team. And then he goes out there and he leaves Jackson State, comes to Colorado, takes kids he had from Jackson State, recruits kids, gets a bunch of transfer. He has talent for freaking days on this team. Absolutely days. Like wide receiver Travis Hunter. His son going to come over here and play quarterback. And, I mean, if you just actually go down the list, Xavier, Jimmy Horn Jr., I mean, there's just crazy amount of talent that's on, not just on the offense, but on the defense. It's like he rebuilt this whole program and with new kids. He went in there and told them, if you don't want to play, if you don't want to fight, if you don't want to win, you're not going to be on this team. And he said he wants the ones who are mad at the world and this and that. And he broke down each position and what kind of player he wants. And he's built Colorado up for it, right? He's sold out. He's ready to go out there. And the spring game looked – the fans were more fans there than they've been in a long time. So he's got this new attitude in Colorado. And so the program's like, okay, new attitude. Let's go back to a new look to the Big 12. I mean, I don't blame them. It's not worked for them over there. If you go to the Big 12, you're going to play in Oklahoma. You're going to play in Texas. You're going to play in Iowa. You're going to play in all these different places. And what you're going to do is be able to recruit in there and still be able to recruit some off of the West Coast and some from home in Colorado. Them boys that are used to that negative 40 degrees, which I think is going to be important, which we're going to find out just how good all these Florida boys and Texas boys that he got out there are going to be able to handle that cold. Are they going to be able to handle the cold or are they going to quit? We don't know. We'll find out, but we don't know. So you got Colorado coming over there to the Big 12. Makes sense. Texas is going. Oklahoma's going. They brought in UFC. They brought in Houston and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a pretty good program. But Big 12 was starting to look like a bunch of G5 teams coming over and calling them a Power 5 conference. I don't know about that. I mean, West Virginia ain't really done nothing big anytime soon. Iowa State, you look at them as some chance to win a national title? No. Texas Tech, they're good once in a while. I mean, yeah, they show up once in a while. Oklahoma State's come out there and they'll do good every once in a while. No one who I've mentioned is looking like a national champion anytime soon or competing, even a playoff team. Well, now that we're going to go to 12-team playoffs, maybe then, yeah, there's going to be somebody, because the winner of the conference is going for sure, and possibly somebody else. We'll see. But the TCU is good, and Baylor's good, so they do got some out there. And I'm not taking anything away, but the Kansas and Kansas States and all that, I mean, this is a basketball schools. They do good in football for a year or two, and then they have another big drought, and then they come back. But we're talking about consistency. What is this conference going to look like? I don't know. I do know Colorado will fit right in. I know Colorado will fit right in because all you have to be is a little bit above 500 and you're having a really good season. I know the competition ain't the same competition that they've been playing against out there in the Pac-12. I know it's not competition like the SEC and the Big Ten, so they don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, maybe it fits them. Maybe it helps build their program back up. Maybe they become one of those 6 to 7 win programs at first. And who knows, make it to that 8 and 9. I mean, that's huge for Colorado. And then once in a while have a breakout year and win the Big 12 and be Big 12 champions and make it to a playoff. I can see that. But then again, you could have probably done that if you didn't leave because it's falling apart over there in the Pac-12. But you do still have Oregon and Washington and Oregon State and Washington State. I'm not going to give anything away from them. I mean, they're good. Utah won it the last 2 years. Everybody said, well, USC's going to win this. And then Utah won it for the second time. Utah ain't nothing to joke with. I like Cameron Rising back again. I mean, it's going to be a threat out there for sure. But no, I don't know what's going to happen with this college realignment that continues to happen. I mean, where's everyone going? How are they going to redo this? Because bringing a bunch of group of 5 into a conference, is it going to make it a powerhouse conference? Isn't it making it a Power 5 kind of conference? You're just really bringing in a whole nother, G5 conference, to be honest. So what's Pac-12 going to do? Because, okay, let's take it this way. 2024, USC's leaving, UCLA's leaving, Colorado's leaving. So what does Oregon do? What does Washington do? Do they stay put and just win it every year with them between them and Utah? Or do they run? Do they try to find this realignment too so they can have good competition every year, build their teams up, recruit really well, and to be able to try to play for national championships? I mean, yeah, they'll make it to the playoffs because nobody's in their way. But if you're not out there competing against some of the best, it's almost impossible to be able to compete against the best when it comes time to compete. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out with this realignment. I'm not sure if it does work out. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of questions that we're going to have to ask, and we're not going to know all the answers, right? It's just all going to have to unfold, and there's going to have to be some things that are fixed and tweaked and moved around to be able to know what's going on. But I do know this. It's happening fast, and it's happening almost daily. Somebody else wanting to leave and change it up, and it's kind of crazy. Absolutely crazy. So now that they're going to go, they might be able to, like I said, recruit better, compete better, build their program up better. Deion Sanders might be able to build a winning program out there compared to where they're at because they're not recruiting well enough out there. I mean, when they did recruit well with Deion Sanders, it's mostly Florida boys coming out there, which is, like I said, we're going to find out how that real cold snap happens and if they can even play in that or if they stay hidden underneath a big blanket or a big old jacket with a heater on them. We'll see. And then what happens to the Pac-12, we'll have to find out. I mean, if they can't figure it out, then too bad. These teams deserve better than that. They deserve better than that. Everything that they've done for you and you're in your conference and you can't figure out a media deal to be able to keep these guys there, I mean, you're actually losing history. It's unbelievable that USC is not going to want to be there. It's crazy that UCLA is not going to be there. And now Colorado, who you got there, is now leaving back to the Big 12 where they started. It's crazy. Shame on you, Pac-12. I mean, you guys are going to have an amazing year this year. You had a great year last year. And then it's all going to fall apart in 2024. And you have nobody to blame but yourself. That's what I think about it. I mean, what do you think about it? Think about this and let me know. Put it in a comment how you feel about this. How do you feel about this realignment? I mean, there's nothing we can do. You can't slow it down. If you agree with it, you're happy. If you disagree with it, well, you just got to deal with it. There's nothing we can do about it. These super leagues are going to be built. And it's like either you jump on board of the super league or you be left behind. And SEC and Big Ten didn't hold nothing back. They're going to jump on. They're going with it. I don't think that the Texas, Oklahomas, and the USC and UCLAs are the last ones to go to each one of those conferences. I think they got their eyes on some other prizes. I think they're going to try to build up even more. And what you're going to get is a Big Ten or SEC champion each and every year. That's what you're going to get. And I think these teams know. That's kind of why I'm hoping Notre Dame actually goes to the Big Ten. I'm a big advocate for Notre Dame to go to the Big Ten. I don't know why they're independent. I do not agree with it. And I get it. Listen, they have an ACC contract with basketball. They have a similar contract when it comes to football. They're not part of the ACC, but they have to play an ACC schedule. So many teams a year. But the ACC ain't been up. Now, FSU looked good last year. I think they'll do good this year. There was a little bit of dive down on Clemson, but they did pretty good last year, and I think they're going to be way better this year than last year. Miami keeps saying they're back, but no one's found them yet. So we'll wait till they pop up and show they're back. We won't have to wait long for that with that Texas A&M battle they're going to play on early this year. And Pitt showed up, and once in a while, Pitt does show up, and they've done pretty good the last few years. I think they'll be an okay team. I think they'll be a good team, to be honest with you. They're not going to be great this year, though. So I don't know if ACC is going to be able to pick up on this alignment. If they don't do something now, if they don't start winning now, I don't know if they can. I mean, it's the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Georgias and the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States and all these guys that are winning every year and making their name big and people wanting to watch them on TV constantly. That's what's drawing this in. Big Ten went out there and signed this huge media deal with a bunch of different networks. I mean, a bunch of them. And people just seen cash signs everywhere. And they're like, oh, we want to be a part of the Big Ten. SEC signs with the ESPN and they're now trying to get their own thing going. They got the SEC network. They got that, and then they're also going to be playing some mix-ups like with the Big 12, and there's some Big 10 matchups coming down the road in 2027. With Ohio State, Alabama, you got Georgia playing in some, you got Texas playing against some Big Ten teams. So the SEC Big Ten is going to be really going at it for a little bit. That's going to help because now you have Super League versus Super League, Super Conference versus Super Conference, and that's what people are going to want to see because the best of the best play the best of the best. That's how it's supposed to be. Don't even get me started on how the scheduling works. I can't. I'm going to do a different one on schedule. We're not going to get into that. Nobody wants to get into that. That's a freaking headache. How are they even getting away with this stuff? Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to do it because it just aggravates me how scheduling works in college football. But I don't think it's that hard to fix, to be honest with you. But that's what I wanted to get on here. I want to get on here and talk to you a little bit about this Colorado deal, see what you think about it. I want to hear what you got to say about this Colorado. Are you happy they're going back to the Big 12? I mean, are you happy? Was you never a big fan of them being into the Pac-12? Or do you even care about Colorado? See, I care about all college football. I care about college football as a whole because I am a fan of it. Now, I have my team, but I'm a fan of college football. And I think anything that makes it better is what we need to move towards. Like, I like the fact the kids get the money. I don't like the way NIL is right now. I like the transfer portal. I feel like if a kid can't get a starting spot in a couple of years and he's a good kid, he should have the right to go there. I don't like how it is right now. I don't like how commitments are committed. And now they just decommit whenever they want. And don't commit. If you're that, you know what? You don't want to get me started. We got a whole nother show that's going to come on with that. But there's so many questions that have to be asked about this. And then there's answers that we can never answer. But we can always speculate because we love to speculate. Colorado, good for you. I like the move because I think the Pac-12 is falling apart. Get out while you can. I think the competition will be right in your level. I think it'll help you recruit. Deion Sanders will get there. And when he leaves, I'm not sure how your program is going to be once he leaves. But we'll come across that bridge when we get to it. Right now, I think they're doing the right thing. As bad as it is to see all this realignment go on and kill tradition and history of these teams and certain things, if you can't do right by your teams, they should have the right to leave. And by doing right by them, they'll stay. So that's on you, Pac-12. That's on you. ACC better keep your eyes open, because if you don't do right, well, you're going to get the same thing happening to you eventually. So we'll see how that works. I appreciate you guys listening. Continue to follow me. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on here. Send it to all your friends. Tell them we're going to talk about college football, everything to do with college football. I want to hear what you want to hear about. I want to hear what you have questions about. Maybe you have something or a team that you don't ever get to hear on other podcasts because people like to talk only about the best four. Put your team on there. Let's talk about it. Let's see where they're at. I'm going to give you the truth. If your team's not great, I'm going to let you know I don't think your team's great. But maybe the future's great. If you are a G5 team, and what I mean, like a team, a group of 5 team, I don't mind talking about group of 5 teams, but make sure that they're relevant. There's some group of 5 teams, they're not relevant. And we don't need to get into that. But there's some group of 5 teams out there that play harder than some of these Power 5 teams. I'm all about talking about it. Like Cincinnati was one of the best group of 5 teams, went to the playoffs, and now they're in a Power 5. They showed themselves that they're good enough. I think UCF showed themselves a few years ago that they can compete in a consistent basis, and that's why they're there. Houston, I don't really agree with that. I don't like the Houston one. I thought the Big 12 was just reaching for that. I didn't care for that. But, hey, if you want to talk about them, let me know. Let's see what we can do to be able to go out here and have discussions about college football and enjoy ourselves. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm your host, Don Goodwin. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll talk to you on the next one. God bless.